Okay, I want to talk about why manifestation isn't delusional. Now, I know that we've been conditioned over time to assume that it's the smart choice to be apprehensive, to be prepared for the worst case scenario, to lead with fear. And out of this practice, we have kind of lost the love of the fantasy of the what if the best thing could happen even more than what I had expected. So when we get into the manifestation community, and if you're new here, hi, I'm Cecilia. We talk all things manifestation and magic here. But if you're returning, it's because I know that you know it's actually the smart choice. And here's why. So when you have some kind of situation that you just don't know how it's gonna go, it could be a job, it could be physical health, it could be a relationship, it could literally be anything. But the point is that when you have some kind of situation or outcome that you don't know, which essentially covers every area in your life because nobody really knows what's gonna happen, but the thing is that there's a space between finding out the plot twists and actually living in the moment. And when you do this, sometimes you rob yourself of that anticipation, of that enthusiasm of a good ending. Now, I don't know if you like movies, I love them. And sometimes I find myself anticipating the worst of the changes of this person's gonna be the murderer. Oh, I can't believe that person all of a sudden changed the whole plot line. Like, there's so many parts in our lives when we skip to the end, and it's not the desirable end, right? But this is so much more important than anticipating the end of your favorite show's episodes, right? This is your life. 222 as I'm saying this. This is your life, and this is how you show up in dynamics, whether it's going into a job interview assuming that you're gonna get what you want and that the job's gonna be really good, or that you're gonna get what you want from it, right? Going into a date saying, hey, I'm gonna have a good time and I'm going to enjoy myself, even if this date doesn't lead to my forever person, right? There's a big difference when you allow yourself that space for enthusiasm. And we've labeled it as delusion at this point for you to accept and expect the best case scenario to be possible for you. And not only possible, but to assume that that's what's going to happen or something better. Now, that's really heavy stuff when you think about it, and it's not meant to be taken lightly, especially if it is something that you feel really could change the trajectory of your life, being if it went well, right? So getting your dream job, getting your dream person, getting a phenomenal opportunity that works out for you in the long run, like having those kinds of sentiments about yourself and your own life is far from delusional. In fact, it is enabling you to be open to those kinds of opportunities, to the things that really just don't make sense to anybody else, because you were leaving the door open to things that didn't even really make sense to you. So here we are. We're talking manifestation, and you might be in a position where this applies to something that you're doing today. You might not know what you're gonna do for a job. You might not necessarily know where you're gonna move. You don't know what's gonna happen in the next 6 months. Nobody does. But between now and then, if you have the discipline and you want to use that time to fuel enthusiasm and things that would genuinely make your life much better, I strongly encourage you to do that. And I would like you to challenge this label of delusion, because I feel like it's just a little too easy to write off the fact that you want good things to happen in your life. And it's not simple. It doesn't have to be so complicated where you can't figure out what it is that you really want, but it also could be the possibility of What if it is that simple? What if it is just only entertaining the things that I want? And if my mind starts to wander to what could happen if it didn't work out, I don't really care. There's just not enough enthusiasm in that for me to fuel it. So today, if there's something that you are not sure how it's going to end up, and there's a part of you that's genuinely afraid, I can relate to that. And I want you to know that things may not necessarily end or begin how we think they're going to. I can always think back to a particular job that I lost for managing these social media accounts, and it was like the first solid work I had in COVID for a long time, and I was having physical issues with my health, and it was really hard to get jobs at that point, and I couldn't do manual labor like I used to, so the fact that I had something was a really big deal to me. And it felt like as soon as I got excited about this job, I lost it. And I had a huge breakdown. It was not fun for me. I really was upset about it. And very soon thereafter, I was presented with another opportunity that needed that exact expertise, but I needed availability. And, you know, at this point, I think that we all have a story like that, where we lost a job, or we lost a friend, we lost a partner that we really thought was going to be long-term, that this was in it for the long haul, and then there was something better behind it. And I get it. Plenty of people have stories where things didn't work out for them, and that's okay too. We're not trying to force this narrative that everything has to work out for you, but we are kind of trying to force it just a little bit, just enough where it feels like you get to make that decision. Even if it's not necessarily the thing that you sought after, you can still get what you want from the end result. So when we're talking here, this is disposition, this is motivation. And if that goes along the lines of delusion in terms of being ridiculously positive about what the outcome could be, I urge you to try it. Okay, I love you. Bye.